This week at episode 110 of the It Came from Gen X podcast. Holy smokes, guys. We bring you news on wildfires, street sports growing up. What kind of sports you like to play in the street as a kid? We reminisce and share our thoughts with you. Favorites, sports teams we want to see win. Teams that haven't won a championship that we'd like to see bring one home for the local town. A game show icon announcing retirement, and drive-in movie experiences. Do you like going to the drive-in? Do you still do that? What are some of your favorite memories? We bring all this to you and plenty more Gen X talk, memories, rants, insults, and a lot of fun. So hang with us, stay tuned, and here we go.
This is an It Came from Gen X video.
Hey everybody, it's summertime and it is also time for It Came from Gen X. The gang is all here. Been a little bit of hit or miss this summer so far, but it's summertime. Hey, you expect that. So, you got what we call reruns, here and there, but we are together tonight for a fresh show, episode number 110, and it is good to see my brothers in arms. It's been a minute. What's going on? Brian Fisher, how you doing, bro?
Doing well, man. Yeah, the last couple of weeks, just some good quality time with family, friends. Ali and I got to see a new movie. I'll talk about that when we get to our
All right, cool.
reviews. But yeah, man, just relaxing, enjoying the nice weather we've had. A couple of hot days here and there, but for the most part, been very, very pleasant in Northeast Ohio. So
Yeah, very
yeah, it's good to
pleasant.
be back with you guys.
And I'm good to have you. And I'm glad about it because, my air conditioner for the first time since I got that car in 2013 went out. And I asked my mechanic last year about, Freon, whatever. And he said $100. I was like, $100? He was like, yeah, but we put the dye in and make sure there's no leaks or whatever. It cooled off, so I didn't worry about it. So this year it finally went dead. I took it up, gave him $100, and he came back and told me my compressor was out. I need $750. So I've been very grateful for the cool weather because I don't know what I'm going to do because I travel all day long, every day, and I have got to have air. So, so grateful for the cooling off, man. I love the 84 Transformer shirt, dude. Killer.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All
Yes.
right. Skin Bone, man, how are you, dude? Besides need a good night's sleep like I do.
Oh, it has been crazy as can be around this place.
What? So
Mom's
everything's
still in.
normal. Everything's normal.
Oh no, and there's nothing normal about what's been going on. No, we're doing well. We are embarking on 1 month being married as of tomorrow. So it's time to get Marcy's getting her name changed. I'm still getting adjusted to seeing Marcy Skinner instead of
Yes.
Arson.
I changed it in my phone the other day. I was really cool. I was happy to do that.
She changed it on Facebook within the last week, and there was a few people that didn't make the list of the 50 that came to that particular day, wondering why they, But anyways, mom's got another 4 weeks in the nursing home at least. She's out of the cast, but she still has no weight bearing whatsoever. But she's doing well. We saw her tonight. She threw a couple jabs in at me, and I'm walking out with a smirk on my face. Love you, Mom. See you later. And she just gives me, she tells me I'm number one.
Yeah, I hear you.
Mom, son-in-law type thing. But no, everything's good. Summertime. We booked our first camping trip with the trailer.
Nice.
So I've got to get that thing out of my driveway and onto the road, meaning practice driving this thing before I psych myself out completely. But other than that, everything's well. Looking forward to the golf tournament, the annual Father's Day golf tournament on Saturday.
Yes, and I will actually have my son there this year.
I heard, and you guys are playing right behind us.
Yeah. Well,
So,
actually, we're playing right behind everybody.
but looking forward
Yeah.
to been spending a lot of time with Coach Cooper this summer, making up for all the time he's been away with volleyball. So it's been
Yeah.
nice. I actually play with him on Thursdays in the golf league, and we'll see him again on Saturday. So
All right. Excellent.
Yeah, I'll miss that this year, guys. When I booked a trip and
Oh
kind of forgot about it.
no!
Yeah, so and by the time this airs, would have happened. So I'll talk about it on the next episode again. But this will be my mother's first plane ride in her whole life. So
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
we're
Okay.
gonna fly down to Savannah and see my uncle, which is her only
Mhm.
and younger brother, Uncle and Aunt, who lived up here for many years in Worcester, Ohio. They moved down to South Carolina. So yeah, that's a nice little extended weekend getaway,
Yeah.
visit family. That'll be really, really nice. And by the
I'm
time I talk
excited for
again,
her.
I might have a whole different tone and demeanor of the whole trip. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
But right
Well,
now,
right.
it's
I got to be honest, dude. I'm gonna miss you. You were my first golf partner,
yes.
and definitely not gonna be the same without you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've been, very very busy around here. We yesterday was an extraordinary day for me. Um, we do a lot of outreach. My church does, and I just wanted to take it up a notch yesterday. And gosh, I don't know how to say this without sounding like tooting my own horn, because I'm not in any way or shape. But we just like, you know what? Why am I hoarding things? We just got like brand new shoes in a box, and just took it out, man. I mean, there was a guy walked up on us who was wearing house shoes with holes in them, and it was raining yesterday, and that was the best he had. And to see
Hmm.
that man's face to get a brand new pair of shoes and socks. I mean, it was just an incredible day yesterday. I was just so proud of the house and restoration. So I just want to say kudos to them on a job well done yesterday. We fed about 50 people, 40 to 50, clothed a lot of people, gave out a lot of shoes, and more importantly, a lot of people changed their lives and came to God. So it was a beautiful day. Still working on getting my eyes together. That's another story for another time, but lawsuit anyway. So,
Well, hey,
uh,
I know you're not
good.
wanting to toot your own horn, but I think me and Fish, I can speak for Fish, that we should toot your horn. Not not many people will go and do what you and your brothers and sisters at the church have been doing, not just yesterday, but you guys have been doing this for weeks and months, and I'm guessing it's been years. So for what you're doing to help the people in need, there needs to be more of you and more of your church people, because I got goosebumps here listening to you talk. So I want to congratulations to you, to your church, and thank you for all you do, and hope that somebody else out there can do the same. There are more people out there that do the same as you guys are doing. I had to say it. So,
All
so
right.
thank you
I
again.
got a show to do, man. Don't get me all. Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you
I
so much.
mean, he's right, man. It's like you mentioned this a while ago, Keith, that you just you want to get out and do it more, and you just said we just
Yeah.
have to go out and do it. So stop talking about it, do stuff, and that's what you guys have been doing. So
Yeah.
those little moments of giving somebody hope in their day, like you say, could be life changing. I'm sure
Greatest
for
thing in the
people as
world,
down in
man.
their luck. So good for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just the greatest thing in the world. I tell you, I don't know who's getting more out of it, them or me, but awesome. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it has been, I don't know, kind of a quiet couple of weeks, but we got some cool stuff to talk about. As usual, little nostalgic stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
And I got to give a quick shout out, to pretty cool individual I met by the name of Jada at Legends Barbershop on Copley Road here in Akron. I tell you what, man, this is one of the most unique individuals I'll ever meet. She's amazing, and she cuts great. And I told her I would give her a shout out. 1326 Copley Road. Go see Jada. And probably one of the biggest and coolest barbershops I've ever been in, man. Big screens everywhere. It's really laid out. So shout out to Jada at Legends Barbershop. All right, guys.
Good.
Got to give our love out to the man, Michael Skinner Jr. And I got to give, not only is he the man, but I got to give some shout out to his wife, my girl. Listen, his wife Marant wants to do one of their rooms in black and gold. And I say, go for it, girl. That's my girl, right? Get the Steelers colors up there.
Here, I'm thinking you're talking about her voice and how she sounds on this
Oh,
last track they
she's
did.
an amazing
And you're
singer,
talking
but
about freaking
that's
painting the
right.
room black and gold.
That's right. Go Steelers.
Good Lord.
Okay, that's right. That's my girl. Okay. All right. Hey, big love to Desert Reasons over at Boss Code Media, man. Big thanks and big love to you also. All right. How about we get this show started, man? Fish, tell them where they can find the show.
All right. You might be listening to us on demand. We can be found on all major podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there, I'm sure. Just look for the It Came From Gen X podcast. Give us a follow or a subscribe, and rate, review where you're able to as well. Helps others find the show. And as we publish new episodes, we'll pop into your feed free of charge to listen whenever you want to. You might be watching us, as Keith already mentioned, on the Bosco Media TV network. You can find their app on your smart TV or portable device. Just look up Boss Code Media, download, subscribe, and we're on there with many other creative folks. A lot new videos are getting downloaded that we've been sending over to Des, so he's getting caught up with a couple of weeks of videos. So we have a lot more content out there to catch up with us there. You also might be watching us on our YouTube channel at It Came From Gen X. Full-length show videos are there, clips, everything else. Find us there and give us a free subscribe there too. All show information can be found in two main places. Our Linktree page is simply Google Linktree. It Came From Gen X. It's simply a page with links to our social media, etc. And one main area, our website, it came from genx.wordpress.com. All information's there, links to new episodes, links to bios, videos, ways to sponsor the show, merch store, all kinds of good stuff on the website. Go check us out there. If you do anything at all, though, tell a friend, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Keep up with us. And we appreciate your support. Thank you.
That's right. Also, you can find us at www.heythatsmellisnew.com. So find us on there.
There you go.
Okay, guys, latest.
That perfume is not called Marcy Skinner, by the way.
Yeah, you know what, Keith? When we find Marcy, we'll have to ask her how she's feeling about everything.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her in about a month, so hopefully she's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
He'll see her Saturday night. You won't.
I'll text you, Fish, if I really see her.
Yeah, let me know. Make sure everybody's safe and so forth.
Hey, congratulations to the Skinners though on the truck. They're gonna do some camping. I'm going with them. I'm excited to see this bad boy. So just want to give you guys a little love on that. Hey,
I want to see him try to get up into this thing.
Who, me? No,
yeah,
you. No, you don't. You making fun of the handicap? That is not funny. Okay. Hey, guys.
You sort of got a spiral staircase thing for Keith to walk up in the truck.
Wow, I want to lift.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have something to get him up into that thing.
You better get a lift, some hydraulics, dude. Staircase, it's crazy.
Or put some hydraulics to make that thing go down so he can step into it.
Either or. There you go. Take me up or bring it down. I really don't care, one way or the other. I'm not picky. Hey guys, I gotta give you a quick latest on the dating app situation.
Okay. There you go.
So I saw this.
Wait, this is your Pastor Bachelor update, everybody.
Yeah, Pastor Bachelor update.
Yes,
so I
please.
get a like a couple of days ago, and I'll send you guys the screenshot. This girl who was like posing in all these different places and positions, but her face was covered up in every pose. I'm like, what? She was at the gym, had her face covered up. She was in some flowers, face covered up. Body was terrific and all that. I'm like, what is this crap, right? So we connect, and I'm like,
Uh-oh.
the first thing I text her was, why is your face covered up? And she's like, well, if you open up an account and hit me up on WhatsApp, we can talk, and I'll show you my face.
Jeez,
So I
boy.
really thought this was some kind of scam or something, because I didn't know what WhatsApp was, right?
Mhm.
And I looked into it, and it's just a messaging service, like texting back and forth. So I said, okay. So I opened up downloaded an app, and then I put her number in, and we started talking. Her name was Bella. And I was like, oh, can I see what you look like? So she sends me like 4 pictures, all professional looking pictures. This beautiful Asian girl, right? I'm like, okay. So she just starts talking, asking questions. Where do you live? What do you do? I'm looking for love. And my last boyfriend cheated on me, and I just went. Well, I'm like, okay, I'm playing along, telling Pam that somebody thinks I'm stupid. I'm playing along with them, and I was like, well, when can we video chat? And she was like, well, we got to get to know each other better. I said, what does that mean? I said, when you meet somebody in the street, you meet them face to face. So what's the difference? What better way to get to know each other better than to look at each other and talk? My video rang. And I hit the button, and it was that same girl that sent me the pictures.
No kidding.
I almost fell over. And I was like, hi, how are you doing? And she said, hi, I ain't no English too well. I said, then how are you texting me so good? She was like, go text, English not so well. I said, is somebody forcing you to do this? Or, I was all suspicious. Listen, I accuse this girl of being held captive and all this stuff because she couldn't hardly speak, but her texting was all fast, right?
Oh, because the app does translation or something?
Exactly. She was on a translator.
Oh, no.
So she got mad at me and said, you're an idiot. She hung up on me.
Well, Keith, when you go to the dating apps, you're not supposed to go to the male bride section. You're supposed to stay local.
Wow.
I accused the girl of being held captive and being the face for some kind of con thing because she couldn't speak English. To hear she was listening, her text was coming through a translator. She said, you're
My
an
guess,
idiot.
you didn't get a date out of that one.
No, it didn't work out. There was no connection on Pastor Bachelor.
Oh my!
But you know what?
I like this segment though. I want to keep the Pastor Bachelor segment
I'll keep
going.
you updated.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
So she was in New York anyway, and I'm like, how are you gonna communicate? You can't speak English anyway. So, but it was interesting. It was fun. I tell you what, you could have bought me for a nickel when my video rang, and it was
that
her.
would be shocking.
I was like, huh?
I thought
I
thought for sure you're gonna say that she wanted. Well, I could come see you, but I need so much money sent here, type deal.
All indications was this girl was looking for love, man. So,
wow.
hey, second time this happened. Okay, all right, that's my update. Hey, Skinner, we missed you, baby. How about some world news? Take it away.
One less listener.
All right. Well, it has been a couple weeks, but pretty much it's been quiet for the last couple weeks.
Thank God.
I want to first do shout out to the Ukrainian people that are just, I don't know how else to put it, going through hell. If you've lived under a rock like Keith Porter has the last 2 weeks and not known about the dam that got blown up and just completely decimated a couple towns.
I had a girlfriend in New York.
Yeah, I know. I got you. No, but if you've seen the videos and you've seen the stories over there in Ukraine, and then for the audacity for the Russian people to blame the Ukrainians for blowing up this dam is just mind-boggling. So, first of all, on behalf of the show, our thoughts and prayers are to these people of Ukraine. Not only that they've been decimated with the war that's been going on for the last year, but these towns that just got wiped away with millions and millions of gallons of water. Just to give you an idea,
So sad.
you couldn't see rooftops in some of these houses that the water was so high, and it
Oh
just
my.
yeah. I mean, you couldn't even see people standing on the roofs. They were probably hanging on for dear life in some of them. So, um, yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen that story, if you knew about it, but if you wanted to elaborate, but it's just terrible, and I feel for those people.
Yeah, I did see that. It's just that it takes this it's bad enough that you're invading cities and killing people and everything. And then when you do something like this, it's like there's so many more innocent people whose lives are just upended by this type of stuff. It's just really an ongoing tragedy. So
Yeah,
really, like you say, you just feel bad for those folks. I'd be glad to see that come to an end.
um, to extend on your point, Chris, you're absolutely right. And with that being said, Skinner started off by saying, "My heart goes out to Ukrainian people. My heart goes out to the Russian people. They're
Them too. I shouldn't leave them out. You're right.
yeah, there's a definitive difference between the Russian
Yeah,
people and the Russian government.
that's
Okay,
true.
and
Yeah.
That
and,
is
and, and
absolutely right.
yeah, and there's a lot of people in Russia who are not happy about what's going on, about what the
Right.
government is doing. You think about it, if we learned that our government was bombing a place or doing something, we'd be very upset. But
Hmm.
that place would hate Americans or other people talking about Americans. And it's like, hey, it's not Americans, you know. So a lot of people in Russia, our heart goes out to you as well because you have been drawn into this. Maybe some Russian soldiers are down with this. It's just a terrible all around. Yeah. Wow. That's awful,
Yeah.
man. That is
Okay.
awful.
So, the thing that came right to us, at our doorsteps is there was the Canadian wildfires that are going on right now. And
Mm.
this is not just on the East Coast, it's actually in the Midwest and on the West Coast.
Hmm.
Canada has been decimated with
Mm.
fires, and these fires have not been caused by negligence like a lot of these that we've talked about in the past here, especially that one where the one story we talked about where they had a gender reveal party, and that was where the Skinner Ranch kind of
Yeah.
originated from. All these fires have started from Mother Nature, lightning strikes, because of
Mm.
the lack of water that's been
Mhm.
I would say hasn't been received over the last couple weeks. Canada's had a bunch of wildfires that have been set by electrical current from lightning strikes. But along with the windstorms that don't produce any kind of rain, the wind has just moved these fires. So I grabbed a couple of numbers. Um, through June 11th, they've had 4.7 million hectares of fires. Now, if you know what a hectare is, it's a metric system to such as meters, but it's at 1 hectare is 2.47 acres of land. So the
Duh.
U.S. by the U.S. we go by acres
Oh,
for science and for the way that they recognize it. It's one
well,
hectare
we all went to
is two.
Kenmore, so we deal in
Yeah,
hectares
no
all the
kidding.
time. So
Of
yes.
course.
So
Yes.
through June 11th, 4.7 million hectares of fires have gone on,
Mm.
compared to typical year is 310,000 hectares in Canada alone. That doesn't
That's
include,
crazy.
Russia, or I mean, doesn't include the U.S. I was trying to find some numbers to compare the U.S. with California and Oregon, but they have not seen this many fires since the Oregon wildfires in 2020.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow. That's
so
crazy.
to to put into perspective, if you folks out there listening, or if you guys here, if you've seen the pictures of New York City and you've seen the pictures of the state capitol, Washington D.C., I couldn't help but to look at these pictures and say, "Wow, that looks like 9/11 all over again." The
Wow.
dense smoke that you could barely see a silhouette of a building. I mean, there was a picture of the state building in D.C. and you could see the top of the building, but you really couldn't make out. You could
Yeah.
make out the dome barely, but you couldn't see anything else. The smoke was so thick and so dense.
Wow.
And then poor guys and people in New York City, they had to be reliving 9/11 again all over
I would
with
imagine.
what they went through. So
I bet there's a lot of PTSD going on too with that.
yeah,
With 9
so
11.
it just heartbreaking, not heartbreaking, I guess. It's just people having to stay in their houses because they can't handle the smoke, they can't handle the carbon, those that are ill. So I wanted to bring it up just to, if you guys had seen those pictures, if it brought back any type of memories to you. Have you been involved in a house fire or a fire area that you've had to walk away from or run away from? I've never personally, knock on wood, ever witnessed a house fire or been in one, and I hope to pray that that never happens. But I know people that have, and it's a god awful thing.
Yeah.
So the people in Canada that are trying to keep their livelihoods alive and going, my prayers are out to them.
A lot to cover there. When you were talking about the wildfire, the question that was going through my mind was, why is it so easy for us to create things of destruction, but not things to stop destruction? You know what I mean? Like something to put out a wildfire. Why can't we come up with something like that? Something that takes all the oxygen out of the air, or something that quenches the fire. We can do things like that to kill the air, to kill people, or something like that, but nothing to stop some of these acts of nature. I remember growing up watching one of my favorite comic books. I had very few non-superhero cartoon heroes growing up, but one of them was Richie Rich. I love Richie Rich comic books or Richie Rich cartoons. And remember Professor King Bean, scientist that worked for him and did all these inventions? I love the fact that all his inventions were to help mankind. I remember he made the paving thing that paved all the roads and made highways and stuff. And it's like, man, you know what? Why do we have so many inventions of destruction, but nothing to save people or stop acts of nature, things like that? We don't put enough time and money into that, it seems like. I don't know, but it just seems like it. But I've never been in a house fire, thank God. I remember one time we had a big pot of grease catch on fire when I was a kid on the stove, and it got swung on the back porch and grease went everywhere. And man, to see fire people just come in and destroy our whole back porch as a kid, was really, well, it did something to me, to say the least. It was just something to see. I'll never forget that. But a house fire is something that just, I don't want to say scares me, but man, that is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. And always very leery of it, looking for loose cords and things like that around the house. And thanks for reminding me of getting our fire extinguisher checked.
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've never been around a house fire myself. Fortunately, there's been fires in the neighborhood before. Never actually saw it happen. But you raise an interesting point, Keith, as far as technology and fighting some of this stuff here. I mean, unfortunately, I think as we continue to see the climate change, we're going to continue to be more susceptible to these type of disasters. Certainly, it's been a real problem out west now for years, and
Yeah.
it's making some parts of the U.S. potentially more uninhabitable. We've talked about that before for other reasons, but I'm sure there's got to be some type of technology and ways that people are trying to figure out how to fight these fires, because they're going to become more and more common. So, we're going to have to try to figure out some other ways to fight these things, or sustain a lot of damage and air pollution and all the health problems that come with that as well,
Yeah.
while we try to figure out the whole bigger issue with the climate, which may be too late.
Have you ever listened to a fire chief talk after a fire? It is amazing the knowledge that they have, how it started, how it kindled, how it progressed. They understand all these things, the nuances of a fire and what it needs to spread and how you feed it and all that. So you would think that we would have some sort of technology to quench these things. Now, the unique thing about this one was you said Mother Nature started it. And I'll tell you what, man, there are certain nonviolent crimes that I think should carry the most maximum of penalties. Starting a forest fire is one, in my opinion. I think it is an egregious offense against nature and humanity. And there's no excuse for it. Well, to do something so ignorant and vile. So it's different when nature starts it, but people start these forest fires, shame on them, man.
I agree. So,
Wow.
all right.
Well,
Well, that's what I have. Pretty. And
well,
like I
that's
said,
not
just go ahead.
nothing. I'm just gonna say keep your prayers on that for sure, man. You're
Yep. I was going to say
heavy
the
stuff.
same thing.
All right, thank you, brother. Okay, guys, let's move on to sports and music. Not going into sports right now. We're in that baseball's just getting going type thing. Basketball is winding down in the finals. Mini camps are going on in football. So not a lot there. The Stanley Cup's over with, right?
No,
No, or
Nope. They're in
almost
the
over with.
finals.
But
Yep.
they're in the finals as well.
Yeah, Vegas is got the lead in that series.
Who would have thought you ever said Vegas winning in the Stanley Cup? When I was
And this
growing
is
up,
not
it was
their
all
first appearance
always Edmonton
in
and
the
all that.
finals.
Yeah, I grew up an Edmonton Oilers guy, man. Gretzky, Messier, all those guys. Grant Fuhr, loved them. Okay, anyway, so I guess we'll mention. I was thinking about the NBA finals and Denver being up 3-1.
It has the lead right now, but I know this is obviously
Oh wow!
we're recording this now, fourth quarter.
Okay, so it looks like they're going to be world champs most likely. And of course, not only is this their first finals appearance, which obviously means if they win, it'll be their first NBA championship. And I'm always that kind of underdog guy. I love to see somebody who's never won before
Yes,
win
me
for
too.
the first time. We know what it was like when the Cavs won that championship a few years ago. I never felt such a collective celebration all around. I remember going down here to the corner store, and it was bedlam on Copley Road, man. People were hanging out their cars, riding down the street, and horns were tooting. It was absolutely nuts, man. It was kind of cool. So, I love to see things like that. And I was like, man, there are just some cities I would really love to see, or teams, I should say, representing cities or states, if you will, to win a championship that have never won before. And I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about that. Now, Junior, I know you're going to be listening to this, so clam your pipe hole up. We're not talking about the Browns. We know Cleveland, we love to see. I would like to see Cleveland win one. I really would. I would love to see my Browns fans' friends just in tears. I would love to see that. So I'm just going to be honest with you. I would just be getting real kick out of seeing that.
Don't worry, you'll never have to see it, Keith. Don't worry.
I'm trying to have a moment there. Thanks, Fish. You're such a jerk. I tried, Skinner.
No, but the funny thing is, you'll probably see a Browns championship before you see the next Dallas championship.
Hey, that's very possible.
Duke it out, boys. Okay, all right.
Very
so
possible.
anyway, so we'll exclude the Browns. Okay. That'd be fun to talk about what team, any sport. It doesn't really matter. So hey, Fish, let's start with you, man. any team in particular?
Yeah, taking Cleveland out. Are you talking about teams that never won?
Have never won it, or it's been so long.
Okay. Okay. You know what team I'd love to see every year? Whenever there's a glimmer of hope in the NFL, like the Detroit Lions, it would be so nice to see the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
And you know what? They're actually getting better, and I'm sure they're going to be favored to make the playoffs this year and all that type of stuff. But that's a team that they've barely won a freaking playoff game.
Yes.
Let alone anything beyond that. So it's just that would be nice to see that city take home a football championship.
And they've had some of the greatest players, particularly
Yes.
running back, in
Yeah.
history. They had Billy Sims. They had
Yes.
the great Barry Sanders,
Mhm.
arguably the best runner ever.
Megatron, the receiver, Calvin
Megatron. I
Hill.
mean, it just goes on and on,
man.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
I would
Just
love
not
to
enough
see that
talent.
too. Yeah, that
Yep.
was definitely one would be on my list. Anybody else? Any other sport? Anything?
For me, that was the first one that came to mind. I'll think about that in a second there when we go to Skinner.
Okay. All right, Skinner, who you got, babe? Talk to me.
Well, you're probably going to call me a homer with this one, but
That's okay.
to me, I'd love to see the Columbus Blue Jackets win a Stanley Cup final. They have never won in the 20. How long they've been around now? 20 years.
Wait. Hold on. Not the biggest hockey guy. You said Stanley Cup.
Yes, they've never won a Stanley Cup.
They're in the NHL.
Yes.
Columbus.
Shows you what I know. Wow. Okay.
Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah, they've been around for almost 20 years now.
Wow.
They've been to the playoffs and gotten swept twice, and they've gotten to the final game in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but they've never gone on past the first round. And for that town, they have Ohio State there, but they don't have anything else. You've got the Columbus. They got the Reds and the Indians. They've got the Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals. But Columbus takes stake to Ohio State Buckeyes and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Man, I didn't know that.
I got one for you, Keith. How about in the NBA? How about the Sacramento Kings?
Oh, geez.
I never cared for them very much, but okay.
No, they're now an up and coming team. Mike Williams is coaching them. Used to coach the Cavs.
Yeah. I like Mike Williams. I like to see that. Yeah.
It's just, that's a small
that has
market.
Been such an irrelevant franchise for decades.
Yeah, I mean they make a run every so often. Well, they'll squeak in the playoffs and all that. But this year they had a nice run. Yeah. But again, I just imagine living in Sacramento, California. It's just like like I said, just they just can't seem to get out of any maybe first round of play. I don't know. They had some runs in the 80s, this and that, and the other, but yeah, that's it. Sacramento Kings.
Yeah,
NBA.
they had their heyday in the 90s with Chris Webber and all those guys.
Yeah.
And they had to go up against those great Laker teams, unfortunately, Kobe and Shaq.
That's it.
And if it wasn't for that, they might have been in some finals, So
Yep.
So Doug Christie, who was Vlade Divac, they had a lot of really great players back then. Okay.
Yep.
The team that hits me real hard is I would just love to see Ohio State basketball really, really dominate in the tournament, and bring home a championship. They had some great teams in the late 80s and 90s and great players. And ever since then, it just seems like they've been, remember when they had Thad Matta as the coach? And it just seems like ever since then, they have been so irrelevant. And I just hate seeing such an incredible football program that's in the top 3, if maybe 2 every year, and the basketball team just also reigns. The women, they make the tournament every year. It seems like they don't even get
run this year.
Yeah, they don't get
too far. They made the Elite Eight this year.
Yeah, but the men's basketball has been so irrelevant for years, and I would love to see them bring home a championship once or twice.
Well, the problem with that program is they've not had a coach since Thad Matta.
Yeah,
all the coaches they've had since then have just been terrible recruiters and just not very good game day coaches.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's been tough since the one and done thing started, and then the big schools really dominate with the great players. Other than your Gonzagas and Butlers and all these guys that have popped up over the years, but it's just hard to get those really, really great players because they're getting all those Kentucky and Kansas and all those scholarships, And I think if we still had guys staying 3 years and up, I think Ohio State would be better at recruiting and keeping people just to go to Ohio State college. You know what I'm saying? But right now, the school has very little bearing on a kid's choice. It's the program. because they don't plan on being there very long. So they could care less about the school. But I think Ohio State as a school and some of the departments that they had back in Thad Matta's time, that was their recruiting power. So, okay. Go
I
ahead,
would
Chris.
give you said no Cleveland. I don't care what I mention it anyway.
No,
The,
I
the
didn't say
Cleveland,
no. I just said we know
okay.
the Browns. That's all I
All
was
right.
saying. We all know the Browns. We want to see them win.
The Cleveland Guardians, formerly the Indians. I mean that's a
Oh
team that
God.
it would be a real shame to have Terry Francona, a class act, one of the best managers of the game, not win a championship while he's there. Cleveland baseball is arguably some of the worst, heartbreaking moments in our lifetimes. You think about they've hit a few runs in obviously the 90s and the 2000s
95,
and
96, 97,
2016.
2013,
Tough, and just losing in
2016.
dramatic fashion. Keith, we can't hear you right now. But that I think would be up there with the Browns winning in Cleveland as far as a level of excitement in Cleveland for the baseball team
Yeah.
to finally win
Can you
one.
hear me?
So, anyways,
Yeah.
now we can. Yes.
Okay. I don't recall seeing such heartbreak in Cleveland baseball at that time when Jose Mesa gave up those runs. Yeah, that was just so heartbreaking. It was the coolest team I can ever remember in Cleveland sports, period. I mean, everybody down the line, man, was just cool. Jim Thome, I don't think there's a more popular player in baseball at the time, all those guys that were on a team. What was the
Manny Ramirez,
Ramirez.
Albert Barrel, Omar Vizquel.
Omar Vizquel. I mean, you knew every single person on that team. You know what I'm saying? They were just cool. They remind me of the 80s Browns teams, with
the Cardiac Kids.
The Cardiac Kids, yeah. And some of those guys. The Cardiac
Bernie
Kids were actually
Kosar,
70s. But
Bernie
the 80s team,
Kosar,
yes.
Webster Slaughter, all those
Webster
guys.
Slaughter, all those guys. Hanford
Ernest
Dixon
Biner.
and all those guys. Yeah, Biner. You just knew every name on the team. So I would love to see the Indians do something as well, man. We saw Philly win, a few years ago, which I could have cared less. And how about the San Diego Chargers? Anybody care?
Yeah, I've always liked the Chargers.
Yeah,
they with the new talent, they might make a run at it. But yeah, it's another team that just never had enough talent overall to get over the top.
Yeah, you were talking about Detroit Lions. They kind of got a mark on their back right now because they shocked everybody last year, and they got some real talent, and they did a lot of tweaking this year. So they don't have any excuse up to go up. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the question will be about their quarterback. I really would like to see him win because this guy, he was the talk of the town for the Rams, first round pick. I believe, was he first or second pick in the draft? But and then to lose his job and then they go win a Super Bowl. I was happy to see he had a good year last year, so I'd like to see those guys win. Okay, we saw Buccaneers get their first. No, Buccaneers won back in the day. That's right. Who else recently won a championship? How about the Houston Texans? That would be nice to see. I mean, somebody in Texas got to win.
Hey, listen. This is the year. You understand?
I hear you, brother. I hear you every year.
Every year we hear that.
We got something's happened. Micah Parsons and something.
Guys, you ain't got no excuse. I'm gonna tell you one NFL team that has always been. I've always admired them. They've been gritty. They've been hard nosed. I don't care who the coach is, who the quarterback is. I wouldn't mind seeing the Tennessee Titans, a la Houston Oilers, win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Always a hard fighting team. Okay. I thought that would be fun to kind of talk about some of these never win team. I was so ecstatic about the Milwaukee Bucks. I know we spoke on it before. Won an NBA championship and did it the old fashioned way. None of this super teams, just play with me stuff. That was just great to see them do it. So I'd like to see more of that in the NBA. Okay, guys. While we're on sports, we got another moron in the mix. Glenn Kuiper. Play-by-play announcer for the Oakland A's. Gee
Former.
whiz. Former. Thank you. I don't even know what to say, guys. I'm interested in your take. So he and another colleague on one of the most important days in baseball. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Jackie Robinson Day.
I
Anyway,
believe it was, yeah.
they did some visitation and they went to the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame. And on air, well, let's just say he said the other word. when you listen to it, I don't know what's funnier. The fact you said it, I mean funny, and it's pretty sad. But the guy sitting next to him, man, he didn't even flinch. Like, I don't know, those guys were having a couple of cold ones. Yeah, that N-word Hall of Fame is pretty good, yo.
Yeah,
But anyway, I don't know that I can't give this guy a pass. I'm sorry. To me, when something like that comes out, that says that's what was in you to begin with. And today he's like, he says, please know racism is in no way a part of me. I've never been, and it never will be. I appreciate the Negro League Museum, President Bob Kendrick, and Oakland A's great Dave Stewart's public support of me in light of this. So he's got a couple of people that come out and support him. I am honest, caring, kind, honorable, respectful husband and father, playing on our sympathies, who would never utter a disparaging word about nobody. Those who know me best know this about me. So he was fired from his job, as Skinner alluded to. I'm just going to say this, and you guys can say whatever you like on it. I hope he wasn't fired immediately after saying that, because it's not very hard to find out a person's character. Years ago, I was called into I don't forget the name of it, but the legal department at the University of Akron. And I had no idea what I was doing there. And they had a sexual harassment complaint against me. And I laughed. And they didn't even tell me what it was yet. And they're like, you laugh? I said, yeah, because I don't care what it is. I know it's not true. And they said that a female student claimed that I said at the gym she had a nice A. And I said, really? And I got really upset. And I stood up. And they're like, no, sit. I said, no, I'm not sitting now. I'm leaving because I'm not going to sit here and listen to this crap. I said, I don't know who it was and I don't care. I know I didn't say it. I said it. And you know what? I dare you to find any woman that says I've ever said that to her. Go back to the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever. Find one, and then I'll let you, continue. I said, I know who I am and I know my character. And I said, I dare you to go to that gym and ask anybody about me, because I'll put my character up against yours any day. And I walked out. So I got a call from, there was a man and a woman sitting behind the desk. The woman called me a few days later. She said I was going to be getting a letter in the mail. She wasn't supposed to be calling me, but keep this phone call between us. She said that the charges were being dropped and she wanted to apologize. She said that she did exactly what I told her to do. She went to the rec center and asked about me. And she said from the people that worked there to the supervisor of the entire rec center, they knew who I was and had nothing but good things to say about me. And I said, I don't talk to women like that. So I knew it wasn't me. So she put my character to the test. So if I would have was in charge of this guy, when I heard him say that, the first thing I would do is ask around. This is how this guy normally talks. What's your vibe on this guy? And see what was going on. Now I don't know if they did anything like that or not, but I hope that he was vetted before he got fired. I hope he didn't just get fired just because he said that, which he might have had to be. I mean, I don't know. Public persuasion might have been strong after you make a mistake like that. But I don't know, man. That's a heck of a thing to walk back from and claim that you don't have a racist bone in your body. Your thoughts on this, Skinner?
The only thing I can say is that was not an oops.
Yeah.
You don't use that term during that type of discussion and it be an oops. I have nothing else to say
No,
other
you've
than,
used it before and several times.
Right.
you're talking about a African American Hall of Fame for the sport that you work in, and you just accidentally use the N word. Nah, it doesn't happen that way. Sorry, your character is already you take it. We already know your character as soon as the word was said. No, I have nothing else to contribute to the conversation other than I'm glad he got fired.
There's just so many issues surrounding this word. I don't know. I think everybody needs an education on it. I just don't get it. I'm going to put my director kind of under the bus here. I don't think she watches the show, but many of you know that I am performing in the play Sanford and Son coming up here in July. This is our third go at this play. I've done it twice before. And one of the biggest controversies was we were doing the one episode called Mama's Baby, Papa's Maybe, when an old friend of Fred comes to town from St. Louis and claimed that he is actually Lamont's father. And one of the big scenes on the show was when he told this to Aunt Esther. And Aunt Esther jumped up and said, "What did you say, nigga?" It was a real big thing on the show, especially back in the 70s. And when we went to do this play for the first time, it was the subject of controversy. And she didn't want us to say it, or the girl playing Aunt Esther. She changed it to, "What did you say, sucker?"
Yeah.
Well, the second time we did this a couple years later, I was in the back room with the guy that plays Fred. We were waiting for our scenes, and the girl went out there and she was doing her lines. And when he said he was Lamont's father, she jumped up and she said it. And we were just like, yes, throwing up high fives, screaming in the back room. And our director just like, man, she had a baby sitting on the couch. But you know what? We're like, that's the play. If you don't like Sanford and Son, don't come see it. That was the whole thing, okay? They use that word in the show. Now, here we are this year, and we're doing it, and we're reading the script. And we read down to the script when it gets to that part, and she has the Nigger word. And we just looked at it, as like, this is not the same thing. You can't say this. I don't understand how she does not know. I don't understand how people don't know. So from nigga to Negro to the ER word, everybody needs to get an education. Fisher, your thoughts, buddy?
I agree with everything that Skinner said. I mean, if you're, it's hard for me. It's hard to try to muster up even to say that word. It's such an ugly word to use in many respects. Straight is a form of hate. And like I said, if a guy just used it casually, I mean, I agree with what Skinner said. He must have used it before and felt at least comfortable enough to blurt it out like that. So I don't know, man. It's like I said, there's different variations of it. I'm quite sure, like you're saying, but you got to know what you're talking about, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It just in many respects, you just
stay away from it.
Stay away from it. Yeah.
Yeah, stay away from it. Okay.
Just exactly.
Okay. All right, guys, real quick. So while we're on the subject of sports, you just hit me today. I was sitting there thinking about some of these sports that we play as a kid on our street growing up. Some of the best times of my life were those moments and those sports. I got three that I just cannot forget about, and I can't even put them in any order. And I thought it'd be cool to ask you guys, what was the sports? I don't know if you guys had kids on your street growing up or not. Of course, we had a million. They all came to our porch. What was the sports in your neighborhood as a kid that you guys all did collectively before the insurgence of video games that brought us all back in the house? Fish, while you're hot on the mic, what sports you guys forget?
We had a few. I mean, I was very lucky here in Kenmore on 8th Street. We had a lot of kids. So I was very fortunate that where if I wanted to go outside and play with kids and round up enough kids to play a game, there was enough kids around you could do that. So, classic was kickball.
Yeah,
There
okay.
was many games of kickball, and
Okay.
we used the different quote unquote bases. Two of them were spots on either curb,
Yeah.
on either side of the street.
You just stole my
Uh,
number one.
and Nerf football.
Mhm.
We had we had two telephone poles that were the quote
Mhm.
unquote end zones, and we would play touch football in the wintertime. Sometimes we even play tackle football.
Yes.
With our winter coats out there on the brick and with the snow.
Yes.
Completely stupid, but we did it. Another one was 500. Now we used to play baseball with tennis balls in the street because at least we had enough brains to where you don't hit a tennis ball in a neighborhood like that because you hit a
Yes.
house and do some real damage. But
Mhm.
it was like a game you had to hit the ball or do something, and wherever you fielded it in the street, you had to roll the ball. Somebody had to lay the bat. The hitter had to lay the bat in the street, and you had to
Mm.
roll the ball from wherever you fielded the ball and try to hit the bat. And if you did, you got
Interesting.
a point or something like that. So those were classic.
Wow.
And one
Yeah.
called Spud as well. I remember. Have you guys ever? It was like
No, that's interesting.
someone was in the middle with like just a regular like dodgeball type ball. They would throw it up in the air, and you had to get in a circle by the person. And as soon as the person threw the ball, you had to run as far out as you can go. And when the person caught the ball, they said Spud, and then wherever you had to stop, and then that person had to try to hit like a dodgeball game at
Oh,
that
that's new. I
point,
never heard that one.
and try to
Okay.
hit people. And either caught it like dodgeball or got hit. And if you got hit, that was an S or something like that. So, anyways, just a lot of fun
Awesome.
games out on the street.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Skinner, how about you, bud?
Well, I did I got 5 of them, but football was on there. Hide and seek was a big one in our
I
neighborhood,
was going to
especially
tell
when
you, hey, Skinner, I was going to tell you, hide and go get it. It's not a sport, but go ahead.
right. No, because like Fisher said, we talk about we're 3 guys from Kenmore, and we say it with affection because we had a great childhood with great kids
Yeah.
that lived on your streets. We all hung. We call each other hood rats, and
Right.
we say that with affection because we were always together. And it was always the same type of people, same people all the time. We call them cliques, I guess. You
Right.
had your 18th Street group, you had your 8th Street group where Fisher and
Yes.
Coach Cooper was in.
Yep.
And anyways, we used to play hide and seek, especially when it got dark, because that was the best time to play hide and seek.
Right. All due respect, that's not a sport. That's a game. But
Well,
that's another category to be fun. Game. Talk about
that
games
would be
to play.
fun. So the 2 that you guys both know that I'm very familiar with and very passionate about. One is number 2 is bowling. And if we did it outdoors, we used plastic
Really?
bowling pins from the kit.
Oh, that's
And
different.
if it
Never
was
heard that
raining,
before.
we would go indoors. We had a bowling ball that we used out of masking tape, and we used the toilet paper rolls as the pins.
Wow. Wow. Never heard that before.
Absolutely.
Man.
And then
Wow.
number 1 sport for us was wiffle ball. We played wiffle ball every single day.
Mhm.
We had contests. I remember a gentleman or a kid that I grew up with. His name's Eric Montgomery. He was a bowler and a baseball player. I played with him all the time, every day, almost every day during the summer. And we used to play one-on-one wiffle ball with him. And we had contests and how many times we could strike each other out. And we would alter that wiffle ball to where we could make a curveball start 10 feet in the air and drop into the strike zone. And if you weren't ready for it, you weren't going to hit it.
Wow.
Well, as a kid,
unique.
that was such a great time playing.
Okay,
Again,
well,
bowling
my list is more like Fisher's. Yeah, I think you have some unique games you guys play. That's very different. That's fantastic. But hey, guys, let's put a pin in that. Let's do games coming up, because I think that would be fun. Talk about the games we all play. But on my street, obviously, I said it. Kickball was. Oh my gosh, is there any more fun to play kickball? And I don't know. It made more sense to be at a field or whatever, but there was just something about playing in the street and. You hear this word, car.
Yes, right. That's right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
You got to get out
Mhm.
the streetcars, come in, and all that good stuff. We played touch football, pole to pole in the street,
Mhm.
And the wintertime
Mhm.
was the greatest because we had all these layers. We played tackle in the snow.
Mhm.
It was more fun because no matter how hard nobody hit you, you wouldn't get hurt because you had on so much crap. And we
Mhm.
played it. We got frostbite. That was great. We had a lot of fads going on too. Everybody had roller skates one year. Then the next year was skateboards. Then it was bikes. But football and kickball was like the biggest things on my street. We just lived for stuff like that. And the other one was just racing.
Hmm.
Man, we would love to line up and just see who was the fastest from summer to summer. And you guys won't believe how when I tell you that yours truly was number one for many years. God, I miss those days.
We played a lot of frisbee
Man,
too. We played a
oh,
lot of
did you?
frisbee. Yeah.
Okay, we played a little bit, not a whole lot.
Yeah.
And my sister Pam was a legend in football growing up. Her nickname was Sticks Downies because we couldn't tackle her. I don't know where that name came from. Somebody named her that, but she's a yard football legend when we were kids. So all right, that's all I got, guys, for sports and music. Real quick in music, I had a story on Bob Dylan, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about. Bob Dylan just cannot sing. Can we all agree on that? He's in the Rock
Absolutely.
and Roll Hall of Fame. He's unique, and the guy's cool. No problem with that. But he cannot sing. So I'm not going to even read the story about Bob Dylan because of time. I just thought it would be cool to talk about our favorite non-singer singer. That's somebody who may not have the greatest voice or they're not a traditional singer, but they're yet famous and we still dig them. Like Skinner, go ahead, buddy.
As a matter of fact, the TV's on for Miss Marcy to fall asleep on, and the previews for Weird Al Yankovic just came on.
Oh, how Jacob.
You know what? That's a great. Watch that movie, by the way. That is
Oh
a great
I
movie.
God.
have not seen it
Where
yet. You
how
mentioned it a
Jacob.
Oh, you
few
have to see
episodes
it.
ago.
It's so good.
That's
You know,
hilarious.
Yeah,
his story is
yeah, yeah.
incredible. I know a little
Mhm.
bit about his story without it seeing the movie. But yeah, that guy can't sing, but man, what a career he had.
Oh, that's brilliant, man. He capitalizes off everything.
So, but that was and it's funny that just came on right before you brought it up because I was going to say his name, even when you said find somebody that doesn't sing, but
Okay, that's a
Weird
good
Al
one. Very unique
Yankovic's
answer. All right,
up
Fish,
there.
go ahead, buddy.
I'll give you a local guy. How about Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo? Devo.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I mean, it was quote unquote singing, but a lot of it was kind of talk singing and that type of stuff as well. Love Devo and definitely had that type of vibe and style.
Yeah. Yeah. Good one. Good one. Good one.
That was a good one.
I had a couple people that come to mind off the rip. Man, Mick Jagger. I mean, I never seen somebody who capitalized off so little in my life. He's the ugliest guy in the world, but had nothing but supermodels. He's got one of the worst voices in the world, but he's in one of the biggest bands in history.
Yeah.
Just love some of the songs. Start Me Up, Give Me Shelter, some of my favorite songs in rock history. And I thought he did a fantastic job using with what he had. And of course, I think as far as we're concerned, the greatest non-singer of all time is Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, this guy sounds like he's got a mouth.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Geez.
you're hurting me.
Now, come on, man. I mean, Ozzy is not Pavarotti here. But hey, some of our favorite songs growing up, Ozzy sang them. So he's definitely in that category.
Hmm.
Agree, disagree? Come on, you guys get quiet on me.
He's more of a
Uh,
singer to me. I mean, he definitely has some. I don't know. I don't put him in
out
my
of the
Fair
opinion,
enough.
names you
anyways, in that
brought up,
same category.
he's the most talented singer out of the names that we all brought up. Hands down.
Well,
Ozzy's better than any of the names we
I
brought up.
did say either somebody who can't sing or not your traditional singer. Ozzy is very
Okay,
different. He's
all right, that's
very
true.
different.
I'll give you
So
that. I'll give
I
you
put
that.
him more in that category than can't sing because
I'll give you
You know,
that.
obviously he can.
you can go one step further and say Axl Rose couldn't sing a lick either for Guns N' Roses. He was terrible, but he was great.
He had rock and roll attributes. He was really really good at. So yeah, okay. Of course, we go on and on and on. Of course, you go R&B music. Keith Sweat, very famous, but
Oh, that's a
everybody I
name I
talk to
haven't
goes,
heard in
yeah,
years.
he cannot sing a lick.
Wow.
Bruce Springsteen. List goes on and on. Okay.
Yeah.
Milli
All right.
Vanilli. Oops, did that slip?
They can sing. We just didn't know it yet because it wasn't them.
hmm
All right, guys, that list can go on and on and on. So let's get on to some pop culture. Take it away, Fish.
What is it?
Say, what is it? Hey, why it's Buttercup. Popcorn and sweet cream butter, too hot popcorn. Mix it up, wrap it up, Buttercup is born.
It's delicious.
So nutritious,
It's a taste delight.
It's so munchy,
crisp and crunchy.
you'll enjoy each bite. Eat butter-drenched Buttercup, popcorn at its best.
Served in a king-size cup.
It beats all the rest.
All right. Well, guys, since we've been shooting this here, it's going to be past tense by the time this airs. But the Denver Nuggets have won their first NBA title.
Good for them.
Okay.
Congratulations.
4-1. Yep. Okay, well, why don't we start with some? It's been a couple weeks since we've been together here. Why don't we start with some GenX recommendations? Have you seen or heard or anything you wish to mention for our listeners and viewers? Skinner, anything, sir,
Before
you wish
Skinner
to
goes
mention?
on,
Go ahead.
before Skinner says anything
me.
in regards to the Miami Heat losing to
Mhm.
the Denver Nuggets, I would like
Mhm.
to say this to my Uncle Sam, who lives in Miami. Stick it in your ear. All right.
All right.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
We feel for you, Sam. We feel for you.
Yes.
So you guys talked about this. I think you both have already seen it, but I finished watching it, which was Night
Night Agent.
Agent.
Yes.
That show was absolutely fantastic. I hope
I
there's.
told ya.
I heard there's a season 2.
Mhm.
Love that
From my
show.
understanding, but that was such a great series from start
Yes.
to finish. It hooked you on the first show, and couldn't stop watching it. I've started watching on Netflix a show called Fubar. It
Arnold.
Yeah, I
stars
saw that. Yeah.
Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger's in this.
Mhm.
He's a CIA agent, and he comes to find out that his daughter, 28 years old, I think is the age that she is supposed to be during this, is also a CIA agent, and neither one of them knew that they were CIA agents
Yeah.
collectively.
Mhm.
And he went in to save some agents and come to find out it's his daughter. So I've just started the series. It's pretty fun so far.
Mhm.
And that would be one of my recommendations, definitely. And I know we talked about it previously, Lincoln Lawyer, that
No.
came out on Netflix last year.
Yeah.
Season 2 starts in August. So if you've not seen the first
man.
season,
I thought you were gonna say it was
absolutely
already out.
watch it.
Yeah, watch it. It's worth
And I think August 2nd or August 8th. It's the first week in August, season 2. I can't wait for it.
Okay.
excellent. Cool.
Very good. Keith?
I started a show on Disney Channel, Disney Plus, I should say. I'm sorry. Called American Born Chinese. It
I've
is
heard of it.
it is pretty interesting. Michelle Yeoh is in it, who I always love her, and it starts off, I guess what they call heaven. And the guy in heaven is called the Monkey King, and he has this staff that shrinks down to like a toothpick, but turns into a big staff. It's has all these powers in it, and his son steals it because his son feels that he has to fulfill some sort of destiny, and he's chasing his son through these forests, and they're jumping over rivers and mountains. Pretty incredible opening scene and all that. And his son jumped into the vortex that brings him down to Earth. Now, meanwhile, they come to Earth, and there's a kid who's starting, I think, ninth grade, if you will, young Asian American kid, and he's just trying to be cool. You know, he wants to be liked. Of course, his parents embarrassing. He gets embarrassed at school, and the year that he's crushing on this girl, and he thinks it's going to be his year, he gets called out in the hallway by some principal or teacher and says, "I want you to meet the new kid. You guys have a lot in common. He's Asian too." And of course, the kid's just kind of like, "This is really racist, show him the ropes just because they're both Asian." And he does not know that this new kid, whose appearance changed, looked more like a regular kid, came from a different place, the son of the Monkey King, and has all these powers and ability. And the Monkey King's son feels like the kid in school is supposed to be his guide to finding some magical scroll to fulfill some destiny. Michelle Yeoh is some kind of spiritual guide in this. She's a pretty amazing fighter as well. Some great martial arts stuff in it. And it's kind of entertaining. So American Chinese born on Disney Plus.
Okay. Anything else, Keith?
No, I think that's all I've seen recently, man. I started Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm gonna finish it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. Well, Skinner, I've also been watching the Fubar series. Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of enjoy. Yeah, we talked about it on Convincing Idiots. Nick said it best. I think that if Arnold was not in it, I don't know if that I'd have the same affection for it because it's Arnold, and we just like seeing Arnold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but he is in it, and it is fun. So it is an interesting storyline. So I agree with you. It's on Netflix. It's worth a watch. There is
That's
also
a unique take that I have to agree with you on. Yeah. I think you're right, though.
We're both Arnold fans, big time. Nick and I. It's just anything with him in it, we're probably going to enjoy a lot of his stuff for the most part. But anyways, but he is in it, so we like it. So it's the storyline's interesting. It's good. Check it out. But there is an Arnold documentary also on Netflix that just dropped this month. It's a 3-part thing.
Ooh,
it's like
man.
three phases of life or something like that. So it shows him as the young man, trying to make it big in bodybuilding, and then he gets to the United States. And then it's 3 phases of his life. Now I'm still on the first, and maybe I got through the first episode. I'm on episode 2. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, highly, highly recommended here. It's just the story of a young guy in Austria that just decided, I'm going to do this.
And he captured the world.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He was a young kid. He saw a movie, this guy playing Hercules on the big screen. The guy is a big muscular actor, whatever. And he's like, this guy was able to do this. He saw like a magazine of him, like a health magazine, with bodybuilding tips and stuff. And he just said, well, this is what this guy did. I need to do that as well if I want to look like him and try to make it big on that. And he was winning as a teenager in his early 20s. He was winning like Mr. Olympia type contests and all that, just from sheer determination.
I don't know a bigger American dream story than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, you think about that. Yeah, absolutely. It's almost anything he set out to try to accomplish, he did. And he gets into his marriage, the whole thing. So
yeah, I want to see that.
If you're an Arnold fan, you'll definitely enjoy this. And if you're just a fan of, just hearing about determination and sheer will stories that humans can do if they really just put your mind to it.
Yeah.
And it just takes a lot of work, but it can be done. Highly motivating.
That's awesome.
Go check that out. Yes, absolutely.
I was about to screw up, man. I'm so sorry. I can't believe I forgot these. There's 2 that I want to name. First of all, I got to mention my favorite news show. And I'm telling you what, guys, if you had not seen the quote-unquote reality series featuring Sylvester Stallone and his family, it's called the Family Stallone. Have you seen it?
I think I've seen maybe the title for it, but I have not seen it. No.
Watch it.
Didn't know it existed.
What is it on?
I don't even know. You have to Google it, dude.
Okay.
But I'm telling you what, watch it. My goodness. It is just worth. You can turn the volume down. You don't even need it to know what they're talking about. Just watch it. This guy has the 3 most beautiful daughters.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness. And you put them on the screen with his wife. It's just great television, man.
Yeah.
But it was so awesome to see him sitting at a cafe eating pizza with Dolph Lundgren, his brother, Joe Pesci, just hanging out. Cool. It is a really cool show, man. I don't normally get into those kind of shows, but this one I dig, you know. Sly
Very
is just totally cool. He's like Arnold to me. He's my guy,
Yeah.
man. But
Yeah.
I saw one of my favorite movies of the year the other day. I can't wait to watch it again on the new Max. It's no longer HBO Max. It's called Max now. But if you guys have not seen Shooting Stars, I'm telling you what, man, you got to watch it. It is the story of LeBron James
High school.
growing up right around the corner here from my house as a little boy. To see them riding through downtown Akron and all these places that we know, it is so cool. I remember a little bit last year, if you guys remember me telling you, I was going to Swenson's and they wouldn't let me in. There were all these bright lights everywhere. And the guy goes, "Get away, we're shooting a movie." Well, that very night, that scene is there in the movie, you know. And then they have to shoot at real odd hours to make these scenes believable. Like when they're going through downtown Akron, you can tell that they're like 4 or 5 in the morning, so nobody's around. You know what I'm saying? Because the cars had to be back in the 80s and stuff. So it was just really, really cool to watch. I know a lot of those guys personal in the movie, so that was cool. The guys he played with, Romeo Travis and all those other guys. I got to be their photographer when they played for the University of Akron, and I was there going to school. So Coach Dan Brott, know him very well. It is a great movie, man. Great story. So watch Shooting Stars.
Okay. Very good. And I'll give you one more. I saw in the theater, Allie and I went last week, the new Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse movie. This is the animated movie.
Yes.
Sony. This is part 2 of the Miles Morales story, him and Spider-Gwen. I won't get no spoilers here. If you're a Spider-Man fan, go see it. These are some of the, in my opinion, Sony has all these goofy offshoots of like Morbius and this and that. I could not care less about those type of movies, but this, they're doing it right. They're staying true to the Spider-Man storyline.
Because I didn't like the first one. I don't like the. I didn't like. It was too weird. I didn't like the way it was shot. I'll give it a second chance.
It's good. The references in this thing, there's so many to catch. As a matter of fact, I need to go back and watch like the new rock stars or somebody that points all these out. But there's obscure references in Spider-Man comics throughout the years that if you're a fan, like I've been, collecting the comics for years in the past, you'll pick up on things. The 1966 animated Spider-Man makes an appearance. There's all these references across the years that is definitely worth checking out across the Spider-Verse. Okay. Some pop culture headlines here, guys. An icon has announced, a game show icon has announced his official pending retirement. The great Pat Sajak has announced that he will retire from the Wheel of Fortune next year. He has been doing the show for 40 years.
That's
40 years. Pretty amazing. So next year will be his 41st season. Begins in September. So he said that will be his last. So there's still another season to see Pat. I don't know what Vanna's going to do. I would imagine maybe she moves on with him, or they maybe encourage her to move on with him. Who knows? And you'll probably see some fresh faces up there, I would imagine. But yeah, I mean, I have to look this up here, but certainly as far as tenure, I know Bob Barker did Price is Right for like 50 years, literally, but way up there as far as tenure in a game show. I mean, he is, with Vanna, he is Wheel of Fortune. And the guy is just, he's a master. He's just, he does that show probably half asleep. He's able to do that show and host it, But yeah, just a tremendous run. I enjoy him on the show. I don't watch the show a whole bunch here, but I do. There is a comfort. It was like a comfort with Alex Trebek on Jeopardy. If I ever decided I would have watched Jeopardy, with mom or whatever on my own. It was comforting to know that they were there. I don't know. It's just a part of childhood that is still with us here. So
Pat Sajak, yep,
yeah,
since
so, I don't know.
1983, man.
Wow. So
Yeah,
we were
unbelievable.
just getting into high school,
Yes.
when he started. Pretty, yeah, quite an amazing run. So
Skinner was having his first kid. I mean, it's been that long.
yeah, yeah.
Well, 10 years into their tenure. Yeah, it was 93 when Michael was born, but yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I like to buy a vow. Okay, I'll solve the puzzle. Alimony.
But if I'm not mistaken, Jeopardy started in 1980 with Alex.
Yeah, it's
those
I
two
don't
were very
remember.
close to each other.
Yeah, I don't remember any prior host of Wheel of Fortune. I don't know if there was one or not, but I don't remember who the heck
Okay,
it
wait a
was.
minute.
It might have been.
Okay. I don't know why it says that because it says Alex Trebek breaks Guinness record as longest running game show host. That was
Okay.
but that was 2014 article.
Okay.
Because I know Alex started at that concentration game show where they tried to.
Yep.
They had to guess prizes and then figure out what the puzzle was behind it.
I
and he went from there to Jeopardy.
You're right about that. So as far as the game shows, I misspoke on Bob Barker, by the way. I think he did 35 years. Price is Right was 50 years. He did 35, and Drew Carey's done 15 years. So I apologize. I'll have to correct myself there. But yeah, Alex Trebek is up there as far as overall.
Pat Sajak defeated Bob Barker. His record of 35 years. He passed that a couple of years ago, 2019.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you go, Pat Sajak. May not see that. May not see that record.
No,
not again. Yeah. Probably not.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Dwayne Wade's got a shot.
Well, you know what? Drew Carey might make on his age might just be against him. Drew Carey.
It's hard to believe he's been that long with him already. Jeez.
Yeah. He just signed into the contract, but he's 65. Drew Carey. I don't know if it's age wise, he might is possible, mathematically possible. Yeah, crazy man.
But
good job, Pat Sajak, man.
No kidding.
I know that's an incredible job.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
I just find it hard to give up television and comedy for that. I don't know what is it job security or what or money?
Hell yeah. All the above.
I couldn't do that every day, man.
There is something to that. But you ain't doing it all year round though. You're probably recording a few episodes every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You run back. You change
you're working
clothes.
I think you're working a month and you're off a month. You're working a month.
Fantastic job security though, man. Fantastic job security.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That's why you see all these actors clamoring for these jobs when they're offered.
Absolutely. You get so much time off and all that stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never cared for Wheel of Fortune. I never cared for Vanna White. Definitely never cared for Pat Sajak. Definitely respect what they've done though at that show. The game itself,
it's a good game.
I just never like guessing games. I like more knowledge-based games. Jeopardy's been my thing of all my life. I used to like Jeopardy back in the day when I was little. I like what was it called? Not Wild Card. Was it Wild Cards? Might have been Wild Cards. No, I think it was Wild Cards. Where they pull the three things down. That you got the three cards and there's some kind of trivia. Anyway. So anyway, I guess Jeopardy would be my biggest game growing up and still is.
Yeah. All right. Jamie Foxx, we know that we had a recent health scare. It's been a little bit quiet as far as exactly what happened, but there had been some rumors on social media that he basically was hospitalized after a COVID vaccination. And so a lot of people that's been getting out there that, here's another example of the vaccine causing problems, and then his representative or a representative for him said that claim was untrue. So Hopefully he's okay. I still can't really seem to see if he's all right. So he is out of the hospital. Excuse me, he's recuperating. So there you go. So he is recuperating. He's been out of the hospital for a few weeks, says his daughter, and he's been up and around a little bit as well. So it's good to hear he's on the mend. But just another, I guess, a dangerous rumor on social media that may deter people from something health related, whether they choose to do it or not. I mean, when you add these other things on top of it, it's just not. I don't know, not good. But at the end of the day, hopefully, he continues to recover and recuperate, and we see him back on the acting scene. And otherwise, an icon has passed away, you guys, recently in the world of professional wrestling. I sort of got out of it over the years a little bit, but this guy was definitely prominent in our time. The Iron Sheik passed away at age 81. So, were you guys wrestling fans then or now, Keith? Were you an Iron Sheik? I mean, you probably know who he was.
Without question. Okay.
Uh,
Well, first of
and what do you think? Go ahead.
first of all, I wanted to say real quick regards to Jamie Foxx.
Please go ahead.
Shame on people trying to get whether it's likes or attention or whatever to use something as controversial as the vaccine,
Yes.
and of course his health issues. That's just really low hanging fruit and pretty sad. I think that's pretty pathetic to play on
Agree.
people's already fears in regards to the vaccine. So shame on you, those that put that out there.
Yes.
I'm just going to say this and leave it out there. You want some interesting reading on the Jamie Foxx issue, just kind of Google Jamie Foxx and P. Diddy and that whole combination. There's some serious conspiracy stuff going on about what's going on with this guy. I've been following it very closely. Really interesting, really intense. A lot of stuff coming out about P. Diddy right now. A lot of people are coming forward talking about the things that he has done to artists, things that he does to new artists, and they're all coming forward talking about this stuff now. So very interesting. I'll leave it at that. I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, and there's television to start picking up some of the New York-based and Florida-based wrestling, and there was nothing bigger in the early 80s than seeing the Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan duking it out in Madison Square Garden. He was the ultimate villain with all the things going on with Iran Contra, all these things going on. He was the perfect villain. He was such a great villain that they had to create a nemesis for him, who became huge in the form of Sergeant Slaughter for the American side. That's how big the Iron Sheik was.
Right.
He was fantastic, man. He always had that big belly, but he was in incredible shape and totally strong and just ruthless, man. And one of the nicest people you'll ever want to meet outside of playing that character. But yeah, he was awesome.
Very good. Skinner, Iron Sheik wrestling fan.
Yeah, I watched it in the '80s with Iron Sheik, and you said Sergeant Slaughter. That's a name I haven't heard for a long time. But Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, and then I got away from it. And in the early 2000s, when The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin
those are
came
great.
on
That's
board,
the Attitude Era. That was that.
and the wrestling became a giant again. And I actually got tickets to one of the Monday Night Raws up at the Cleveland Stadium when I was it was during my time that I was with Michelle, my youngest two's which is my my second wife. And wrestling was great. I've not watched it much anymore. I don't know who's out there. I haven't watched it in quite a while. But Iron Sheik, I remember watching him as a kid, and he was, like you said, the ultimate villain. But he played the part perfect, and it was exciting. It was fun. I was a young kid, so I believed wrestling was real at that time,
Yeah.
and thought he was a true villain, like I seen in all the movies and in comic books that I read when I was little. So, rest in peace, Sheik. Yeah, you'll definitely be missed, but your memories will remain. I know for me, his memories of him will remain forever.
And I'm a
Yep.
big wrestling
Good.
fan now. I watch wrestling, not religiously because I don't have the time anymore. I record it and catch it when I can. But wrestling has changed. So if I made my list of my top 10 favorite wrestlers right now, the cool thing about my list, half, if not more than half, are female wrestlers right now. And I tell you what, some of the most incredible athletes you've ever seen in your life are female wrestlers in the AEW, WWE. Just absolutely amazing. My number one wrestler is a woman by the name of Bianca Belair. She just lost her title 3 weeks ago, but she broke the record for the longest reigning women's champion in the modern era. Just an awesome, and I think she might be the first African American female to carry the title, if I'm not mistaken. No, second. But she was just utterly amazing. She has this long ponytail that goes down to her ankle that she swings when she comes out. Beautiful. And she just has this little cool move she does, man. But she was a female rock. Ric Flair, the greatest wrestler of all time, his daughter Charlotte, unbelievable wrestler, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, the Sheik is certainly one of the greatest wrestling performers of all time, no question about it, like you said. Okay, let's jump to This Week in Pop Culture History here, guys. We're shooting this again on June the 12th. Today, back in 81, a movie that one of the greatest movies of us, growing up in our generation, that Keith has still managed not to watch the whole thing through. Mentioned it earlier, the Raiders of the Lost Ark debuted in the theater. Obviously, the new one launches in a couple of weeks. The last one, at least the last one with Harrison Ford. Yes.
Shameful.
Yes, I agree. So, yeah, hopefully before, Keith, the new one comes out, you watch at least the first one, let alone the other three beyond that one to get yourself ready for the new movie.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah. And also this day back in a force, Keith, in the entertainment world sustained a fairly serious injury 2 years ago today. In the podcasting world, it's known as the thumb day. This was the day that the Skinner accidentally, literally almost cut his thumb off doing some remodeling. Skinner, you want to remind us exactly what happened and how you're doing with your injury, sir?
As you can see behind me, the walls that were covered in blood there for a while. No, we're redoing our basement. We were originally supposed to make it as a rec room. It's gonna have a card table and the TV and the all the stuff that I had in my other house. Anyway, it was a Saturday morning, the 12th of June to be exact, and I went to grab a piece of wood that I just cut and turn off the machine, and I lost my balance and my hand went into the table saw.
Oh, geez.
I did cut half of my thumb off. I don't have a thumbprint anymore. And I had sliced but come to find out, I sliced my index finger all the way through, and it was dangling, only held together by skin. They were able to reattach.
Skinner, when we say Skinner, we mean it.
Yeah, no kidding, right? They reattached my finger, as you guys can see. I mean, you look at it, my index finger, it looks normal. They put rubber bands in. I can't keep my finger straight. I can't bend it. But, I still have 5 digits on my hand. So if you just looked at me, it looks normal.
So
when you watch me try to do any kind of work around the house, especially with screws, trying to hold on to them, I have very little grip strength in my left hand anymore. So even 2 years later, now I'm still learning how to do things that I had no issues with before.
He had to relearn how to hitchhike and pick boogers all over again.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's like, give me a thumbs up. And this is my thumbs up. I mean, it looks like a gun because I can't make a fist with my left hand anymore.
That's the trigger finger, man. That's wrong.
Right. Well, even then, there's no grip. There's my trigger finger. I can't even. Yeah. If I didn't shoot a gun left-handed before, I sure as heck can't do it now.
Yeah, so. I hear you.
But no,
Go ahead.
Real quick, my wife, Miss Marcy, I put that woman through hell during that time. We joke about it now, and it's great. You guys joked about it a week after my surgery, and that was great.
A week?
But all joking aside, what I put that woman through
Haven't
was
stopped.
absolutely incredible, because she witnessed what happened, and then she was there from the surgery and all the rehab and everything I did. She had to do everything. Hell, she had to put my clothes on for me because I couldn't do it with my one-handed half the time. So,
Yeah,
I love her
why you
dearly.
married a good one?
Yeah, I love her dearly, and if I thanked her then, and I thank her now for what I put her through, because that's an injury I don't wish on my enemies. The pain that I suffered, from this was worse than when I had back surgery 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Having to dress you is something I don't put on my worst enemy either. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah. So
wow. That's
not to dwell,
tough.
but yeah, everything's well. Things are great, but I want to, thank her again, and thank you guys for making comedy out of it, because the only thing you could do is cry. But it
know
was truthfully one of the worst times of my life going through
I
that.
bet it was. Yeah.
Mhm.
We made a
Yeah,
lot of fun about it, but I don't think we could have imagined
Yeah.
all the things that came with that, the aftermath of it, let alone with the pain and shock and all that. So
Right.
we're definitely glad you're better.
How's the bowling with masking tape? Are you able to do that still?
Bowling with my right hand. Yeah. Can't do the two.
Okay. Good.
Can't get the ball out.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yep. Keith, there's still things that Skinner claims he can't do. He asked Marcy to do. It's just we'll talk about it off camera. It's
Yeah,
really
there you
just
go.
really disgusting and sad. And yeah, it's
Keep it a family show.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. June the 17th. I know we've mentioned this previously. Back in time just keeps flying here, guys. Keeps marching on here. Back at 94 already now. So it's coming up on, geez, it's gonna be 30 years next year that this event happened. The OJ Simpson slow speed chase occurred
No, 30
back in
years.
94.
Can we call it
almost.
a chase?
Almost.
Yeah,
It'd be
really.
30
It was more like a
94.
parade. The OJ
Be 30 years.
parade. That's
30 years next year. I guarantee next year is going to be different specials and
Wow,
of all
yeah.
this next year.
Documentaries are going to come out. Yeah, I'm sure they're already in the works.
There's some very good documentaries out there already, by the way, as far as the case and all that type of stuff.
yeah.
That are very,
And the
very
movie, the
good.
movie was good too with Cuba Gooding Jr. That was intense.
Yeah, so definitely
I'm
go
sure the
check those out.
Kardashians thank OJ for all this.
Yeah, I better believe it.
Yes, but yeah, I just remember I was living with buddy Jim at the time, and just coming home to this, and he's like, I'm like, what are you watching here? He's like, you just described it. It was like at the time, again, it's just still it was like the most surreal and fascinating
Bizarre.
thing that I remember on television, on live television at the time, where it was obviously a well-known athlete and actor.
Right.
It's like, what is happening here?
And we were
riveting.
kids, and we seen the car chase on movies and stuff, TV. I'm like, why
Yeah.
are they going so slow? They can't catch them. I didn't understand that.
I'm sure I probably sat down, opened a beer, and just sat there, and as we probably just watched the rest of it is probably exactly what happened, just because we were so fascinated by the events that transpired. So I don't know.
Hey, Skinner.
Yeah.
You said, I'm sure the Kardashians appreciate OJ. I'm sure they do, including his daughter, Chloe.
And Simpson, by the way, he was carrying you can't forget some of this stuff here. He was carrying a passport, a disguise, at $8,750 in cash.
Wow.
So it was a whole thing. I remember that thinking,
I didn't know
maybe
that.
he was going to kill him. Yeah, that maybe he was going to kill himself that day. The suicide note was just a very, very interesting chain of events. If for some reason you don't know that story, I mean, just wake up and go check that out. It's
my gosh, yeah, there was nothing
tragic.
bigger going on in the world other than that. It was a very scary case in the fact that it could have divided a nation, and in some ways it did.
You're right.
A lot as well. So, man, it was huge. And how about kudos to friend of the year, Al Cowlings?
What? Man.
That's asking a lot. Hey, look at here, dude.
Yeah. I tell you what, that dude's getting some cash right now.
I'm getting accused of double homicide. I'm gonna need you to drive me. Wow.
He's like,
Asking
did you
a
do
lot.
it? We'll talk about that later. All right.
I'm on my way, fish. Take the phone off the hook.
Holy moly. Wow.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, mention that call, getting that call. Oh
I
man.
just need getting it from Cooper, maybe.
Hey, listen.
Tell him I ain't here, honey. Tell him I left.
I need an HBO help a brother out. Yeah. Oh wow.
Ooh, man. That's something.
Wow. All right. And this was something last week in June the 6th. In 1933, the first drive-in theater opened in the United States in Camden, New Jersey. Richard Hollingshead Jr. first began outdoor theater tests in his driveway in his backyard, and then before building a 400-car capacity drive-in.
Mm-hmm.
The slogan for the new invention was "The whole family is welcome, regardless of how noisy the children are." And the first movie was 1932's Wives Beware. Although he failed to make a profit on the new venture, he sold his drive-in theater 3 years later, and soon drive-ins were popping up from coast to coast. The thought is pretty interesting to where, yeah, that's exactly what it was. You could, as we know, you could bring your kids, you could bring people to the theater, and you had the privacy of watching the movie in your own vehicle, and you can enjoy the theater that way. So I know drive-in movies for me as a kid were a big deal. I loved going to them as a kid, and that love continued as I grew up. I went to many drive-in movies as a teenager. It was always a great date thing. And then as I had my own daughter, that was something that we enjoyed doing together, was movies in general, and the drive-in was a big deal. Taking her to the drive-in, trying to stay up for both movies was a big deal. Just a lot of fond memories of the drive-in theater. So much now to where, as you guys know, I have a projector out in the backyard, and I love the feel of even that, of sitting outside and watching a movie in honor of like the drive-in experience. Every time I watch a movie out back, I cannot sit down and watch the movie without watching some retro drive-in theater commercials to set the mood for me and everything else. So
that's so cool.
Just love the whole experience. So this kind of got me thinking, guys, do you have some favorite drive-in movies or favorite experiences of the drive-in movies? Was it something you liked to do? Any movies come to mind you saw that were an extra thrill seeing it on the big screen in the drive-in theater? And again, just any particular memories in general. Skinner, why don't we start with you? Anything come to mind with the drive-in experience?
I remember going to the drive-in out on 224 that is now considered Acme Clicks and Jackie Lee's. I'm sorry, Manchester Road. Excuse me.
That was
Manchester
Summit
Road.
Drive-In. The Summit Drive-In is what that was.
Yep. It was 2 or 3 screens. I can't remember in that area. Remember going there, and then there was the one in 224 out there.
Gala.
The Gala.
Which is now the Gala Commons out there. Yep.
Gala Commons is out there, and we go out to the one watering hole every once in a while. We all meet out there. And then we've got Barberton,
Magic
City, and then we've got the one in Ravenna that are still here. I used to take the kids, or I remember taking my kids when they were younger, to the Monsters Inc. movies, and I took them to the Minions movies. And I have fond memories as a young adult with the kids taking them. They always packed a blanket and their pillow, and if they didn't stay awake, it was okay. But half the time, they put that chair in front of the car outdoors, and they sat there and watched the movie. And then when the movie was over, and I've got pictures of it, they're out dancing like it's at the end of the movie to the music that's playing. So Fun movies, memories, especially as a dad and as an adult, and as a kid. Mom and dad would take us to the movies every once in a while, and I remember myself taking my favorite blanket and a pillow, and if I didn't stay awake, it was okay. That my parents got to see the movie, so it's a lost art and a lost thing that I think needs to make a comeback more than it has. And if you haven't been to a drive-in movie in the last decade, go do it. It's well worth it.
Yep. Keith?
I haven't been to a drive-through movie and I can't remember when. I don't particularly care for them anymore. Just usually screen's too dark. If you're in the car, it's very uncomfortable for me. Some of the joint issues I have, sitting outside the car, too many distractions, or the screen's too dark. I loved it as a kid. I absolutely loved it. It was even maybe growing up, maybe a teenager, a little older. It was thrilling. It was fun. But I went for more reasons than just the movie. As a kid, it was about the movie, but growing up was for other reasons. You're making out with a girl, or all the buddies were going to be there, and you're doing all kind of things. Remember the fun sneaking guys in the trunk and all that stupid stuff, and that was a great experience. My first drive-in movie I'll never forget was Benji, and it was a little boy, and it was just something I'll never forget as a kid. It was a amazing experience for me. I never seen anything like it. I think I saw a Bruce Lee movie once, and I tried to go see. I think the last one I saw was the Fantastic Four when the first one came out a little bit ago. Actually, no, it was the second one. I think I went and saw Rise of the Silver Surfer. And I mean, some of those scenes were shot so dark, I couldn't see what was going on. Heck, on TV today, you still can't tell. But I just don't like the experience anymore. It's just not comfortable for me, I guess. So I don't do it as much or at all.
Okay. I haven't done it lately, but so when I do, I enjoy it. So as a kid, I got to see Star Wars from the drive-in, so that was huge. Seeing the Star Wars on the huge screen was a big deal.
I'll bet.
Remember watching the King Kong 1970s version, like the late 70s version, with my parents on the drive-in. That was pretty cool. I remember watching that movie. By the way, it was like on the screen ahead of us was King Kong, and you turn around and you could see the other screen. The screen behind us, I'll never forget it, was a kind of a soft porn movie of Alice in Wonderland behind us. So I remember that entire movie sitting in the back of my parents' station wagon watching King Kong, and every opportunity I had was like turning.
I'll bet you were.
It's
to catch a peek.
You think about what a setup that was, to where you could just turn your head and see a soft porn movie. It was like nudity. It wasn't like actual sex on the screen, but it was like, what were these people thinking? Pretty amazing stuff here. That entire movie was just like, you caught King Kong.
Yeah, right.
Also, King Kong. Also, what an experience.
Right, your little thing fell off your mic there, so.
That's all right. Yeah, thank you.
I think comfortability is my thing now when it comes to movies. As you guys know, we used to all run into each other at our $5 neighborhood theater around here, and I haven't done that in 2 or 3 years now. I just pay the money to go out to a place we have in Canton called Tinseltown, or Cinemark, just for the big jet chairs. And I think that's just been my most important issue now, is having comfortability. So it's been worth it to go to the other places.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, from an economical perspective, frankly, I mean, it's cheaper almost to go to the regular theater if it's just a couple going.
Yeah.
But if you have more people going, that type of thing, then it does. But again, it's just a retro experience, and you have the speakers to the radio now and everything else. I don't know.
Right.
Skinner mentioned at the beginning of the show, we did have a couple years ago, we had a fun experience. A bunch of us went to go see the original Halloween movie at the drive-in. We had lawn chairs. We sat outside. We were able to listen through a speaker that type of thing. So that was fun with a bunch of people sitting there. But I don't know. It is still a fun experience. So, well, another fun experience, we hope, similar, where you get a retro feel, enjoying something that was maybe better from years ago than today, perhaps, is us, right?
I
Yeah,
know what you're talking about.
listening to us. I don't know. So yeah, that has now come to, we're not coming to the end, gentlemen, of episode 110. Keith, any announcements, sir, that that you wish to add before we wrap up here, sir?
Oh, geez. Well, if you are in the Geneva on the Lake area, I haven't been to there to perform since, oh man, I'm maybe 1989.
Wow, great area, beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait. I will be performing there on Sunday, June 25th with BPM, Brooks Porter and McKenzie. So I'm very excited about that. If you're in that area, we'll be at Lynn's from 2 to 6. So come check us out.
Excellent. As always, you can listen to me as well with friends Dean and Nick on Convincing Idiots podcast. Also, where you listen to podcasts and YouTube channel at Convincing Idiots, plus the Bosco Media TV network. Skinner, any announcements, sir, before we wrap up?
Nothing here. Just a crazy old circus life that we known as the Skinner First and Home.
I'm gonna write somebody. We need a Skinner reality show. I'd watch it.
Oh man, I don't know. You almost too hard to believe that it's true sometimes. But
They're making that
we're
up.
looking forward to this weekend. We talked before camera. Unfortunately, Brian, you're gonna miss it. But
Yeah.
Looking forward to the annual Father's Day golf tournament with the Coopers. That Cooper family, we've talked about it before, that they make us feel like we're family.
Yes.
All the way from, Papa Cooper, Tracy, to the kids and everybody within, the Cooper family and the extended family. They're great people, and I'm look forward to it every year, playing golf with them, and we're going to be there again on Saturday.
Mhm.
To all the fathers out there and all the moms acting as fathers, show may not make it prior to, but I hope you have or had a wonderful Father's Day. Both of you brothers, happy Father's Day to you as well.
Yeah.
You too, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to spending the weekend with my dad. Just blessed to still have him in my life. Skinner men don't live past 54. They haven't up until my dad's generation. My uncle's still alive. My dad's still alive, well into their 70s. So cross the fingers that still holds true. So every day that I have with my dad is a special day. Every Father's Day, I look forward to the next one with them. So
Yes.
with that being said, if you guys are good, this is episode 110 we just completed. We appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you, gentlemen, my brothers, 35 going on 40 years. It's hard to believe.
Wow.
Real quick before we go, my father was talking to Madison, my fourth child, my fourth oldest, and she was talking about that she has no friends from high school, and she's only been out of school for 4 years. And my dad's talking about he's coming up on his 55th or maybe 55th school reunion, and has no desire to go.
Mhm.
And he didn't like the people then. He's not going to like them now. This, that, and other. Madison said the same thing. And I'm sitting between the two of them, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't have that same feeling as you guys. I said,
That's
you
awesome,
all
ain't
know
it?
my friends that I still have today are the friends that I grew up with.
That's very cool,
I
ain't
have
it?
I have two separate sets of friends from Kenmore. I have the younger clan with the Foreign Ashes and the Bogs and all them.
Yeah.
And then I have you guys that graduated prior to me. And says, I'm blessed beyond belief to have people in my life for as long as I have, because I know I can go a drop of a hat and ask any one of these friends, and they'll be right there for me within minutes. So thank you for being in my life. Thank you for everything you guys have done. We've been through hell together, all back and forth. So I guess get back to Father's Day. Enjoy the Father's Day. I hope your kids spoil the hell out of you too, because you deserve it. Same with Coach Cooper and everybody else out there. So for Keith Porter and Brian Fisher, I'm Michael Skinner. We are the guys from Gen X. Happy Father's Day, and we will see you next time. Have a great day, folks.
Love you, brother. Brother
You
Saint.
too, man.
We are very blessed.
That's right. And happy Father's Day, all the fathers out there.
Hey, this is Skinner from Came from Gen X. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and like, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome to episode 110 of the It Came from Gen X podcast. This week we bring you wildfires, street sports. What do you say? One more time.
All right, take two. 3, 2.
This week on episode 110 of the It Came from Gen X podcast, we bring you talk on wildfires raging across the world. No, that's wrong. One more time. This is
Canada.
Yeah.
Canada and the
Jesus.
U.S.
Yeah. Okay.
Take 3.
Good outtakes.